The day I pulled up to my new place on Harper's Ridge, I felt like I'd stumbled into a dream I'd spent years chasing. This was my land, my house mortgage-free, no less tucked away in a quiet pocket that kissed the edge of a fancy HOA neighborhood called Silvercrest Estates. Their gates screamed money, but my spot? It was free from their rules, their mailbox color codes, their grass height obsessions. I'd worked too hard, rebuilt myself from the ground up, to let anyone tell me how to live on my own turf. As the MOVYing truck rumbled behind me, a sleek black SUV rolled up to my open gate. Tinted windows, polished rims, a kind of ride that screams, "I'm watching you." I figured it was some nosy neighbor from Silvercrest, maybe an HOA busybody, sniffing out the new guy. But when the door swung open, my stomach twisted. It wasn't just any neighbor. It was Carl Dempsey. Same hulking frame, same cocky grin, though time had swapped his high school Letterman jacket for a security polo and a beer gut. Carl, the guy who'd made my teenage years a levying hell, was standing on my land, sunglasses perched on his sweaty brow. "Well, damn," he drawled, voice dripping with fake charm. "Jake Mercer, back from the shadows. Still jumping at your own shadow, or you grow out of that." I didn't bite, just stared, not down, not away, straight at him. Maybe that threw him off, because his smirk twitched. He nodded at the trailer parked in my driveway. "That's gotta go. Blocks our SARE VYC access." I raised an eyebrow. "This ain't your property, Carl." His grin tightened. "Sure, but we keep the perimeter tidy. Keeps the estates looking sharp. You get me?" I didn't flinch. "My land, my trailer. It stays." His jaw clenched, but he climbed back into his SUV, peeling out like he'd won something. I knew that look, though. That wasn't VY Tory. That was a bully who'd just met a ghost he thought he'd buried. 2 days later, I found a ripped trash bag dumped outside my gate, its guts spilling like a drunk raccoon's party. I chalked it up to a fluke, cleaned it up, moved on. But the next morning, another one appeared, same spot, same stink. Tucked inside was a crisp HOA notice addressed to me, Jake Mercer, claiming my trailer VY OLAT their VY Sewell standards. Signed in bold ink, Carl Dempsey, Security Super VY SOAR, Silvercrest Estates. I crumpled it, snapped a photo, and tossed it with the garbage. This wasn't a mistake. This was a game, and Carl was playing dirty. The week turned into a slow-burn siege. Carl's SUV idled by my fence every morning, his eyes locked on my property like a hawk circling roadkill. One day, I caught him crouched by the sidewalk, scribbling in a notepad like he was cracking a federal case. Another time, he stood across the street, laughing with a dog walker pointing my way. The trash bags kept coming one a day, always torn, always OBVYS. My neighbor, an old-timer named Walt, pulled me aside one afternoon. "They're gunning for you, kid," he said, squinting into the sun. "HOA types hate folks who live free." I nodded. "I'm not in their club." He chuckled. "Don't matter. You're close enough to piss him off." I'd had enough. I called the HOA office, demanding to speak to the board. Their admin, voice sweet as syrup, brushed me off. "Officer Dempsey's within his rights, Mr. Mercer. Any issues outside our property aren't our concern." I wasn't mad, just impressed at their gall. So I fought smarter. I rigged 2 new security cameras, one above the gate, one by the oak tree, angled to catch every inch of the SARE VYC road. Motion sensors on, lenses sharp. I waited. It took less than 2 days. Late one night, I was scrolling through footage when I saw him. Carl, sneaking up to my gate like a cartoon crook, glancing left, right, then spitting into my mailbox. He scraped his boot on my post, stared into the camera, and grinned. "Your turf now, huh, Jake? Still my game. You just don't know the rules." My pulse didn't race. It froze cold, clear like a blade sharpening. I replayed the clip, saved it, and let him think he was winning. But inside, something shifted. The kid who'd ducked Carl's fists in high school was still in me, but he wasn't calling the shots anymore. I'd spent years forging scars into strength, and I wasn't going back. I filed a formal complaint with the HOA, attaching the VYDO timestamps, clear audio, Carl's face in HD. 3 days, no reply. On the 4th, a kid in an oversized HOA vest dropped off a letter. "No EVY Denke, Officer Dempsey acted improperly." Matter closed. And signed, just their logo and a smug tagline. Order and elegance above all. They weren't just ignoring Methy, were protecting their attack dog. Fine. I play their game, but on my terms. I tweaked my cameras, widened the angles, tested the mics. The next afternoon, a white car pulled up across the road. Carl stepped out, no vest, just a clipboard and sunglasses. He strode to my gate, crossed the line onto my land, and jotted something down. Then he pulled out a red spray can and scrawled violation across my storage unit door. HOA or not, we clean up trash like you, he muttered, spitting on the camera lens. My jaw clenched so hard I thought my teeth would crack. That was it. I called the sheriff. A deputy arrived, watched the footage, and whistled. This guy's begging for cuffs. He filed a report for trespassing and vandalism. That night, my phone pinged an anonymous email. No subject. Inside, leaked HOA emails. Carl bragging about soft intimidation, plotting to suffocate me with VY civility. One line burned. Mercer's stubborn. Let's break him. Another email showed Carl threatening to leak dirt on the board if they didn't give him more power. He blackmailed his own bosses and sent me the proof. I forwarded everything to my lawyer, Mara, a woman who wielded words like a sniper's rifle. The next morning, silence. No trash, no patrols, no notes. Just a heavy quiet, like the air before a tornado. By noon, it broke. 3 men in black polos marched down the Sayre VYC road. Carl led, flanked by 2 guards, his face twisted with rage. I was by the oak, nailing up a sign, private land. Do not enter. Real subtle. Carl stopped at my driveway, the others hanging back. Think you're slick, Jake? He snarled. Cameras. Amalcia think that saves you. I didn't blink. Truth might. He stepped closer, hand twitching near his waistband, not a gun, but a threat. Still the same punk hiding behind others, he spat. I stepped down, boots crunching gravel. You got one thing wrong, Carl. I'm not hiding. I closed the gap, 3 feet between us, years of history crackling like static. Want to finish what you started in high school? Let's do it. No bites, no buck up. Just us. His laugh was loud, brittle. You want a show? I'll give you one. He tossed his radio, cracked his neck, and swung a wide, sloppy right hook, same as always. I saw it coming a mile away. I deflected, grabbed his wrist, twisted. He stumbled, then charged shoulder first. I dropped low, pivoted, and flipped him over my hip. He hit the dirt hard, breath exploding out. He scrambled up, swinging wild. I ducked, locked his arm behind his back, and whispered, I'm not your VY Tim, Carl. Never again. I held him, cameras rolling, until he stopped thrashing. I let go. He collapsed, panting, pride bleeding out. The younger guard, phone in hand, muttered, You just tanked your career, man. Carl limped off. No words, just a hateful glare. I turned my back not out of fear, but because I'd won something he'd never understand. The guard's shaky VY Deo hit the internet like wildfire. My camera's crisp footage followed, audio and all. Hot stat et lodet, te joystick for fall, te hobulit. News outlets called. My business page surged with followers. Then came the Reddit drop silver crest leaks. Emails, notes, Carl's own words. Let's suffocate Mercer. The board's panic was public. They fired Carl, claiming his actions weren't their values. Too late. Mara filed a CIVYL suit. Harassment, assault, property damage. We asked for due, la, $150,000. The trial was quick. My footage played Carl spit, his spray paint, his punch. The courtroom gasped. I took the stand, voice steady, but inside, old bruises ached. He didn't just vandalize my home, I said. He tried to drag me back to who I was. Weak. Cornered. I let him win once. Never again. Carl's defense crumbled. He stammered, blamed everyone but himself. The jury didn't buy it. Verdict, au la 150,000 plus fait. The judge tore into Carl. You abused power, endangered a homeowner, and tried to bully your way out. 6 months in jail, suspended if he got help. No more security jobs. Ever. Outside the courthouse, check in hand, I felt no thrill, just relief. Carl was done. A ghost exorcised. My gate now sports a sign. This ain't high school. We teach strength here. Teens love it, especially the ones in my self-defense classes. I turn my shed into a studio, teaching kids to stand tall, not swing wild. One asked, "Did beating him feel good?" I paused. It felt right. The good part's knowing I don't flinch anymore. Silver Crest is quieter now. New board, new VYB. They even offered me oranges, asked about adult classes. Carl? He's guarding forklifts 2 towns over, glaring at nobody. My land's mine, not because I fought, but because I stood my ground with truth. I sit on my porch sometimes, coffee in hand, watching the gate. Not waiting for trouble, just soaking in the peace I earned. What do you think? Did I go too far standing up to Carl? Or was it justice long overdue? Should HOAs have power over non-members? Or are they just legalized bullies? Drop a comment, hit like, and subscribe for more stories where the underdog bites back.